Next, I'd like to discuss the all-seeing eye as a symbol. I'd like to read a series of 4 quotes by Masons that I have found in my research without identifying the author, but all of these discuss the all-seeing eye. The eye was also the symbol of Osiris. Osiris, the sun and principle of good. Osiris was the chief god of the Egyptians. Osiris was the sun. An unopened eye in honor of the great eye of the universe, the sun. So the eye is a symbol of the sun god, and the sun god is Lucifer. And here we see the all-seeing eye on the back of our dollar. And all of this was known to the Masons who designed the Great Seal of the United States in 1782. The serpent is also a symbol used by the Masons in America. This is a copy of a book entitled The Deadly Deception, written by Jim Shaw, a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Mason. But Mr. Shaw is perhaps the first 33rd degree Mason to break with the order, and he has written this book to expose part of what he learned as a Mason. He talks about his initiation in the 33rd degree Masonic Temple in Washington, D.C. He wrote this: "The interior walls are decorated with serpents. There are all kinds, some very long and large. Many of the Scottish Rite degrees include representations of serpents, and I recognize them among those decorating the walls." Notice that Mr. Shaw says that he saw serpents throughout the Masonic Lodge. He did not see crosses or stars of David. He saw serpents. Mr. Hutchins published this picture. First of all, notice the figure of the snake around the entire picture. This is our first introduction to the use of a snake as a symbol of this mystery religion inside all of the other religions. And he said that the figure was that of a god, meaning the figure inside the circle. Most people see the picture and do not examine it carefully enough, and they then go on to other things. But Mr. Pike is saying that we must examine what the Masons say with great clarity. We must look more carefully. And if you do look more carefully at this picture, you will first notice that everything changes in color from the top drawing to the bottom. For instance, notice that the king's shirt that is black in the top drawing becomes white in the bottom drawing. And the banner around his neck changes from white to black. This is a close-up of the face on the top, and it appears to be a drawing of an older king or god. And this is the bottom drawing now flipped over so that it now is on top. In other words, the bottom is now on top and the top is now on the bottom. And this is a close-up of this king, supposedly a reflection of the king on the top. If you will look very carefully, you will notice that the king is not a king anymore. It looks like the king is really a demon. In other words, that which is on top is that which is on the bottom. We think the Masons are worshiping a good God, and the truth is that they are in reality worshiping a demon. The Aztecs worshipped a god by the name of Quetzalcoatl. He was pictured as a good man who was a great benefactor of mankind. Now, we've been told that America was named after Amerigo Vespucci, the navigator of Christopher Columbus. I would like to now offer you an explanation and ask that you decide if you feel the traditional one, the one we just talked about, Amerigo Vespucci, is the correct one. This is William Still's book entitled The New World Order, or simply New World Order. In this book, he makes these amazing statements. Even the name America may be the product of secret societies. In an 1895 edition of a magazine named Lucifer, published by the Occult Theosophical Society, author James Price gave an interesting insight into the meaning of the name America. He said that the supreme god of the Mayan culture of Central America, known as Quetzalcoatl elsewhere, was known as Amaru in Peru. Amaru's territory was known as Amaracu. And according to Price, from the latter comes our word America. Amaracu is literally translated land of the serpent. Mr. Price was not the only one to make this claim. I read a book that is now out of print entitled Atlantis, Mother of Empires by Robert B. Stacy Mudd. I am not here to comment on whether or not this author's contentions that the Mayas were from a legendary continent called Atlantis, but I will tell you that he builds an excellent case that Quetzalcoatl, the Toltec god, was known as Kukulkan amongst the Mayans. In Peru, he was known as Amaru. But both of these names have an identical meaning, in other words, the feathered serpent. From the Peruvian word comes Amaru Ka, and one of the key Masonic writers agrees. According to Manly P. Hall in his book entitled America's Assignment, that since the serpent is frequently a symbol of Lucifer, it is no exaggeration to extrapolate from this that America may well mean land of Lucifer. That completely fits our story so far, doesn't it? Our nation was committed to Lucifer by our founding fathers at the very beginning of our nation because they knew that America was the land of Lucifer. They knew what the name Amaru meant. That is why they selected the Great Pyramid of Cheops as a symbol of this nation. That is why they chose to commit this nation to the New World Order, because they knew that this program was the program of Lucifer. That is why they placed the eye of Lucifer over the pyramid on the reverse side of the Great Seal of America. Simply stated, they knew. Notice that the eye above the pyramid on the reverse side of the Great Seal is not yet on top of the pyramid. That means that their task is not yet accomplished. When the eye finally seats itself on the pyramid, their job will be accomplished.